And a warm welcome to the American James J.P. Reese. He's representing American top team and he comes from Michigan. It's a record of 5-2-0 and is 31 years of age. Now, this gentleman was 57-1 in his wrestling career at high school and went on to become a collegiate All-American. For the UK audience, that means that this guy finished in the top 8 in the country, so very decorated indeed.
Yeah, two-time NCAA Division I qualifier for the University of Missouri, so definitely the wrestling pedigree going to James Reese. It's worth noting he may have a record of 5-2. 5 of those fights coming in 2011 alone, and already he's had some fantastic big show experience fighting on Bellator undercards and of course Strikeforce challenges, so it's a pleasure to have him here tonight.
Sure, I mean he's 10 years the senior, but he's actually got less experience than Brad Wheeler. He's been working on his striking of late, so it'll be interesting to see how that goes down. And we can see there the connection with London. We've got Ashley Grimshaw, and I believe there's Brad Pickett there as well. Those guys who obviously go over to American Top Team to do some training are in his corner this evening. So he's just on our MMA Junkie prep points. Yeah,
this is a guy who you don't want to give a top position to. He will look to strike very, very aggressively. Does have that big overhand right standing, and like a lot of wrestlers, uses it so effectively. You never know whether it's going to be the strike that's coming or the strike to set up that massive power double.
Yeah, it's a full-time gig for him down at Coconut Creek in Florida. And here he is, strutting his way into the Cage Warriors cage.
And his opponent tonight, fighting out of the red corner, making his way to the cage. Here is England's own Brad Wheeler.
And welcome back, Brad, the Crazy Kid Wheeler, representing the MMA Clinic in Romford. He has a record of 7-5-0. He's only 21 years of age. Now, he was a little angered by J.P. Reese yesterday at the weigh-ins. He didn't like the way that he was strutting about. Thought that he was a little bit arrogant, and he's going to light him up here tonight.
Yeah, Brad Wheeler is fired up for this one. As we mentioned in the opening to the show, he's been looking exceptionally good and getting better with every single performance, mostly facing off against domestic opposition. He's really relishing the chance to step up against an international opponent here tonight.
Yeah, it will be a tough test, Josh. He's never going to have faced someone who has those sorts of wrestling credentials.
Yeah, recently received his purple belt in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu under Michael Russell. And, you know, that's a good reflection of the really, really aggressive sub-game he looks to bring from the bottom. Had a fantastic reverse triangle win over Ian Entwistle here.
Yeah, he's been working off of his back. He's not silly. He realises that at some point during this contest, that's where it's going to go. So there's lots of things that he's been working on in that short time due to the change where he was, as we know, meant to have fought Norman Park. Just to reflect on his history, he's beaten the likes of Kev Donnelly, Ian Entwistle, DJ Lima and Wes Merch. So a lot of experience for this young contender.
This bout scheduled for 3 5-minute rounds in the lightweight division. Introducing to you first, fighting out of the blue corner, a wrestler standing 5 feet 9 inches tall. Official weight, 156 pounds. As a professional, his record stands 5 victories and 2 defeats. He joins us tonight from Fort Lauderdale, Florida, USA. Here is J.P. Reese. And next is opponent across the cage, fighting out of the red corner, a mixed martial artist standing 6 feet even. Official weight, 154.5 pounds, and he brings a record standing 7 victories and 5 defeats from Romford, England. Here is the Crazy Kid, Brad Wheeler. Referee in charge is Mark Connor.
And we can see that the Crazy Kid is a well-earned title of crowd favourite in our packed house tonight. So we have Brad, the Crazy Kid Wheeler, in the white and red trim, with J.P. Reese in the white with blue trim. I'm John Gooden, and joining me is Josh Palmer.
Brad Wheeler wasting no time, throwing a big searching hook, and immediately J.P. looking to come in fast in on the hips, getting the takedown. Exactly what we thought he would do with that wrestling pedigree.
Good work from the top by JP Reese. Still ahead, our main event of the evening. Hujent Uret and Bobby the Zombie Brents.
And immediately, JP is looking to get bicep control, head on the chest, really kill the hips of Brad Wheeler, who's trying to be very active at the moment, but it's JP looking to land some of that ground and pound. Got to be careful not to leave his hands on the mat, though.
Very tight wrestling. There's just not a lot of space at all between the two fighters, as JP keeps adjusting his position.
Yeah, Brad Wheeler's doing a really good job of trying to frame on the face and use it to create the space, get his hips out to one side or the other. But you can just see that once JP locks onto those hips, he's got such good pinning power. I believe he was second in all-time pins at the University of Missouri. First, apparently, was Ben Askren, so that's high accolades there for certain.
Good stats from Josh Palmer. Back to the action, and Brad Wheeler's mobility of hips is very, very good. Nice and active from the bottom.
Yeah, Brad's also showing really good intention to mix up his grips between high and low. We saw a moment he tried to dive under the leg. He's, of course, going to use that to get some leverage, really swing his hips out fast. But the order of the business is stop the wrestler holding you down here, and looking to frame into the omoplata. Very, very good aggressive jiu-jitsu from Brad Wheeler.
JP pushes through. The tail of the tape this evening has been the elbows. Will it be telling in this contest?
You can see JP trying to control the biceps of Brad Wheeler. He's going to have to put Brad's back on the mat as soon as Brad gets up on the hip. He's very, very active and dangerous.
JP not doing an awful lot of damage from here.
Well, the thing is, Brad is doing such a good job of attacking and constantly varying his position that, you know, James has the option to, or no option rather, than to try and hold him down, secure his position, defend those attacks, and that's, of course, going to stop him landing the damage from the top position.
Well, they've been stood back up by our referee, international referee, Mark Goddard. And another big overhand right from Brad Wheeler.
Brad Wheeler managing to get some good Chinese right up on the outside, then flicking them into the chin of JP Reese.
Oh, that was very nicely done by JP. Again, nice and tight.
It's something it's something we hear time and time again, John, but the work ethic that you know, freestyle wrestling to a high college level in America instills in you is really a great blueprint for excelling at mixed martial arts. Really just the tenacity to just hustle and keep continually pushing forward, you know, to implement your game plan.
Yes,
it's obviously serving JP very well here in this opening round.
Yes, as he almost sticks to the crazy kid, and he's now having a bit more success. Short elbows.
Yeah, half guard now for JP Reese, looking to try and lock the shoulders of Brad Wheeler back to the mat. Brad going under the leg, but he's given up the pass here. Let's see if JP can shut the... Oh, and immediately stepping to mount. Brad shrimping beautifully, though. See how he immediately framed, got his hips away, escaped back to half guard. Lovely guard retention from the crazy kid.
About 50 seconds left in our opening round.
Brad trying to sneak back to full guard. But there's going to be a lot of top pressure coming from the hips of James Reese. And, of course, he's got that right underhook to keep the shoulders back on the mat.
Back to the full guard position. And once again, Mark Goddard wanting this one to be stood up, get the action going.
Oh, Brad Wheeler expecting the shot. Big pickup from JP Reese and the slam.
Slam.
And I saw a grimace on the face of Brad Wheeler. He felt that one as the shoulder of JP Reese straight through into the mat.
Yeah, could have hurt his ribs as he came down.
Oh, immediately to a mount with an arm trapped is JP Reese.
And we're nearly at the end of the round if Wheeler can hang on, which he does.
Well, JP's shown his intention here. He's looking for those takedowns. A couple of excellent takedowns from the American Top Team product.
Let's just pay some attention to Wheeler. Unfortunately, he's shielded from us, which is a shame. See how he is, but a nice front kick.
That front kick was good from Brad Wheeler, but as soon as he got under the hips, just squatting and driving the shoulder.
All the way down the side. You can just see how that could have popped a rib.
Here we go, not staying on his knees, getting under him.
Huge, the whole of his weight.
And there you see the grimace on the face of Brad Wheeler.
Perhaps slightly winded at that moment. Looking okay though as he goes back to the corner. He seems to be a little bit too eager with his striking for me, Josh.
Well, the problem is he knows he's got to open up on the feet to cause the damage and to try and stop that takedown offense from JP Reese, but in doing so, of course, he's leaving space for those takedowns, and the timing on those shots from JP Reese is so good that he's getting in on the hips every single time.
The big swinging right and left hands, though, are leaving the opening for Mr. Reese to shoot in. So here's our second round, scheduled for 3.
And again, Brad throws a good kick, but it's immediately countered by the shot from JP Reese, once again securing the double leg.
I'm surprised by his attempts here, Josh. I mean, if you throw a leg kick, a wrestler will take it all day just to grab a hold of it, use that momentum, and then, as we saw, just turn the corner and take it to the mat.
Yeah, I mean, Brad does have excellent hands. Perhaps that's a route to go down, try and stop giving the option of the leg grab, as we just said.
But in interviewing Brad, he did say that he's been doing a lot of work off of his back, so perhaps this is where he saw the fight was going, and he's comfortable with it there. Trying to just get a bit of damage before it happens.
We can hear the corner of JP every time the guard of Brad Wheeler opens to attack. They're telling him the guard's open, they're telling him to posture and start getting some of his ground and pound off.
Very good, very nice control from JP Reese. The way that he moves around, always square.
Yeah, he's not quite doing enough for Mark Goddard, though. I think it's perhaps when he's not landing those strikes, he's also not showing the intent to pass and progress the ground game. So, good decision from Mark Goddard to bring us back to the feet.
A bit better from Wheeler with his strikes that time.
Oh, I think we might see. Oh, Wheeler's looking for
and a pause from JP Reese, but he's locked up the right arm.
Yeah, rolling for a crucifix perhaps here. Oh, just shaking off, and let's see if JP can scramble.
Wheeler is good from this position. We've seen it when he fought Entwistle.
Absolutely, John.
But,
he's searching for that arm. And let's see if he can pull himself into the arm bar here. He's going to try and sneak that shin in.
Not successful this time.
Oh, JP's going to drop his hip down on his hand, though. He's got to be careful not to get reversed here if he lets Brad Wheeler have any control of his body. Brad's going to look to crank that Kimura free.
Yeah, I think that the way that Reese has his leg at the moment, that's going to stop Brad from controlling the body.
Like you say, though, John, it was a very interesting pause in the middle of that scramble from JP Reese. I was expecting him to hit the sit-out. It's what he looked like he was going for, but just taking a moment, and Brad Wheeler jumping on the jiu-jitsu once again.
He's still going for that arm. Not a lot of space for him to pop that out at the moment.
He's going to try and bring his hips into play.
There it is, Josh. He's sneaking a knee through to create the space. JP sees that early. With 2 minutes now left of the second round.
Yeah, Brad Wheeler is intent on keeping this submission attempt. Oh, and has he given his back here? Single hook in for JP Reese. Oh, taking the back very nicely. Let's see if he can get his second hook in. Hammer fists from the side wedge. Brad's going to try and roll and put him back in guard. He's got options for legs as well.
At the moment, he's just trying to...
Oh, good uppercuts underneath from JP Reese.
Yeah, JP Reese starting to throw down. Each one hitting the shot. Now the elbows. It's making it very uncomfortable.
I mean, that's the key to shutting down this kind of jiu-jitsu game, is to really strike with the guy and make him have to think about that incoming damage. JP showing that beautifully. As soon as Brad Wheeler turtled, he was on him with a variety of strikes.
Well, we can see why he was invited to fight on shows like Strikeforce and Bellator. Wheeler trying to take advantage of a guillotine attempt, but slipping out.
Top control in the guard again for JP Reese.
Brad is desperately trying to isolate the left arm of JP Reese. 25 seconds left for both of these guys to work and make an impression on the scorecards.
I'm impressed that Brad Wheeler is not thinking at any point he's out of this fight. It would be easy to slip into the mindset of accepting that you're being held down and stalled out. But Brad is continually working, and he's showing how active a fighter on the bottom can be.
Yeah, great submission awareness from Reese the whole way through these 2 rounds so far.
Both guys clearly in excellent condition.
Our lovely ring girl, Brooklyn, who's joined by Natalie this evening, showing that we're about to get into the 3rd and final round.
Yeah, much of the same from JP in that 2nd round. Takedowns, control of the hips. Brad Wheeler frantically trying to get some space to work his guard game.
Cage Warriors back next week. If you want to follow our musings, I'm at John Gooden 999, and with me is at Josh Palmer MMA. We're over to Kiev in the Ukraine next week.
Yeah, great fight card we've got lined up for Cage Warriors 46.
We're nearly set for this 3rd and final round. Brad Wheeler, I think, is down on the cards, Josh, and needs to finish this fight.
Yeah, both guys looking very calm. But as you say, John, Brad Wheeler's going to have to come up with a different game plan now.
Once again, he's gone for a huge left hook, and JP Reese has done this consistently through the rounds. Ducked underneath it,
yeah,
got into the hips.
He's
and
timing those
down.
incoming strikes so well. Brad Wheeler's having to throw with the intent because he knows that's what he's got to do to land the damage and really try and rock JP. And unfortunately, that's leaving the space for the wrestler to get in on the hips.
Yeah, textbook stuff. Real nice wrestling pedigree, and he's been able to transition into the mixed martial arts game with that. Very effective indeed.
Oh, JP now looking to be active and try and pass. It's something we haven't seen too much from him during this fight, sneaking through to the half guard. Again, Brad Wheeler's searching for that Kimura. Now, the thing is here, if he manages to get it out, there's no rolling defense from JP Reese because the fence is right in the way.
Brad really working hard to scoop out the left arm of JP Reese. But I get the feeling that he's ever so powerful as the American.
Oh, JP stepping around very nicely. That's the problem with with that Kimura grip. You don't control the guy's body, you leave yourself open for a good far side armbar. Knees now from the American top team fighter. He's got good front headlock series, looking to pull Wheeler back to the mat.
Yeah, Wheeler looking to peel off the arm, but wasn't successful.
JP still coaching wrestling at a local Florida high school, so I'm sure they'll be watching eagerly as their coach goes to work here tonight.
He's putting on a very good display and representing his team very well here against the wily, tough youngster Brad Wheeler. Good knees from the top position.
JP's looking to drive that left shoulder into the face of Brad Wheeler. And just giving up the space for full guard again.
Another stand-up by Mark Goddard. Maybe gives Wheeler an opening. I'd like to see him with some straight punches this time.
Every time they go back to the, again, in on the hips so quick, turning the corner. scrambling nicely now, controlling the head and just sprawling Brad Wheeler back to the floor again.
Relentless control from the American top team's JP Reese. Taking instruction from UFC veteran Brad One Punch Pickett and domestic fighter Ashley Grimshaw.
Oh, again now JP's looking to pass, stepping over very nicely. Good head control. He's going to look to use that left instep. Pried open lockdown for Brad Wheeler, just trying to buy himself some time to get back to a more offensive position.
Reese just so tight with everything tonight, not letting Wheeler get any kind of air to throw up a submission or sweep or even escape.
Oh, Brad looking to get his hips out to the side now.
That purple belt that Wheeler has is being cancelled out at the moment.
If you don't leave the space, John, for the strikes, and you don't leave the space for those submission attacks, and the guy just has the solid intention to either stand back up out of your guard or to hold you down, it can be a very, very tough job being on the bottom. And, you know, Brad's attacking with everything he can, but JP's got an answer for all of it at the moment.
Yeah, it's a long night for Brad. I mean, it is a bit lay and pray for my liking. And that's why, you know, I don't think I'm out of turn by saying that, because Mark Goddard is continually standing this up for lack of activity. But looking for a head and arm, but not quite successful at this stage. Brad's going to be very careful, trying to search for that Kimura, but he doesn't give up his back. Good dexterity of his hips, though, to be in this position. Wheeler's got to really power through. He's now looking for Mark to stand this up.
Yeah, I think Mark's saying to him, it's up to you to make the effort to get back up to your feet.
That was the end of the round and the end of this contest.
Yeah, JP raising his hands aloft. He's fairly certain he's done enough for a grinding, controlling victory from the top position for JP Reese.
Yeah, and a frustrated Brad Wheeler being congratulated by his opposing corner. Let's take a look at some of this action as Wheeler stepping forward with the hook. JP Reese did a wonderful job of slipping everything, dropping his level, and just going back to what he knows best.
Yeah, Wheeler always did an excellent job of negating any incoming damage. He was incredibly active, managing to recover guard quite a bit. It's not impossible for a fighter on the bottom to get the nod on the judges' scorecards. He was certainly very, very active. But let's see what the judges are going to decide here tonight.
Yeah, I mean, there were an awful lot of takedowns that were scored by JP Reese. So I think it's going to be hard. But as you can see on Wheeler's face, he's disappointed. But let's go and see what he's got to say. We'll hand it over to Joe Martinez.
Ladies and gentlemen, after 3 rounds, we go to the scorecards. All 3 judges see it the same, 30-27. Your winner by unanimous decision. From Fort Lauderdale, Florida, JP Reese.